Have you ever noticed that some women can say just a few words and instantly command attention? They aren't necessarily louder, they aren't necessarily more educated, they simply communicate with a level of calm that makes people listen. And the difference may be hiding in the phrases they don't use. Because confident communication isn't about using complicated words, it's about removing the words that make you sound uncertain, desperate, or overly eager to be understood. So today, let's look at 8 phrases powerful women replace and what they say instead. 1. Sorry, but. Imagine you're in a meeting and you have an idea. You say, sorry, but I had a thought. You've already apologized before you've even made your point. Instead say, I have another perspective, or simply, here's what I'm thinking. You're not being arrogant. You're simply giving your idea the same space you'd give someone else's. And here's the first secret. Confidence often sounds less like adding powerful words and more like removing unnecessary apologies. 2. I'm just checking. I'm just asking. I'm just wondering. I'm just following up. That tiny word, just, can make perfectly reasonable communication sound apologetic. Try removing it. Instead of, I'm just following up on my email, say, I'm following up on my email. Same message, stronger presence. Sometimes you don't need more confidence. You simply need fewer words that make you sound smaller. 3. I don't know if this makes sense. This is another phrase many intelligent women use without realizing what it communicates. I don't know if this makes sense. Instead, try. Let me explain what I mean. Notice the difference? You're not claiming to be right. You're simply trusting yourself enough to finish your thought. You don't need to sound certain about everything, but you should stop apologizing for having a point of view. 4. Stop rushing to fill silence. Here's something powerful women understand. Silence isn't always awkward. Someone asks you a difficult question, pause, think, then answer. You don't have to respond instantly just because the room became quiet. That small pause can communicate composure. The woman who is comfortable with silence often appears more confident than the woman who is desperate to fill it. 5. Stop trying to impress everyone. You meet someone important and suddenly you feel the need to explain your achievements, your career, your connections, everything you've accomplished. But confident women understand something different. You don't have to turn every conversation into a resume. Ask a thoughtful question. Listen. Be genuinely curious. The conversation becomes more powerful when you focus on creating comfort instead of trying to impress. The most impressive person in the room may be the one who isn't trying to impress anyone. 6. Stop oversharing. Not every thought needs to become a sentence. Not every emotion needs an audience. And not every personal detail belongs in every conversation. This doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. It means understanding that access to you can be earned gradually. Share enough to connect, but don't reveal everything simply because you feel pressure to create instant intimacy. Your privacy isn't secrecy. It's knowing that not everyone needs access to every part of you. 7. Don't gossip to create connection. Think about the phrase, I shouldn't tell you this, but we've all heard it. And gossip can create instant excitement, but it can destroy something much more valuable, trust. If people watch you casually reveal someone else's private story, they may wonder what you'll say about them when they're gone. Confident women don't need gossip to create connection. They connect through ideas, humor, experiences, and genuine curiosity. If you want people to trust you with more, become someone who can be trusted with what they've already told you. 8. Stop reacting to everything. Someone sends you a rude message. Your instinct is to respond immediately. Someone criticizes you. You immediately defend yourself. Someone misunderstands you. You start explaining everything. But sometimes the most powerful response is a pause. Ask yourself, does this actually require my energy? You don't have to respond to every provocation, you don't have to correct every misunderstanding, and you don't have to prove yourself in every conversation. The strongest response isn't always the fastest one. Sometimes it's the one you choose after your emotions have settled. But all 8 of these habits point to one bigger lesson. Powerful women aren't constantly asking, "How am I being perceived?" They're asking, "Am I communicating clearly?" There's a huge difference. When you're obsessed with how everyone sees you, you over-explain, you apologize, you seek reassurance, you fill silence, you say too much. But when you trust yourself, your communication becomes simpler, and that's when something interesting happens. The less you try to prove yourself, the more confident you appear. Let me tell you about the 3-second confidence reset. So before your next important conversation, remember 3 things. Pause before responding. Remove unnecessary apologies. Say what you mean without over-explaining. That's it. You don't need a completely different personality. You don't need to become cold. You don't need to speak less just to appear powerful. You simply need to communicate from a place of self-trust. Because powerful communication isn't about becoming someone else. It's about removing the habits that were hiding your confidence. The women who leave a lasting impression aren't always the loudest women in the room. They're the ones who can remain calm when everyone else is rushing. They listen without constantly interrupting. They speak without apologizing for existing. They protect their privacy. They don't need gossip, and they don't let every emotion dictate their response. The true belonging comes when you stop trying to prove anything and move with quiet assurance. So the next time you're about to say, "Sorry, but I don't know if this makes sense," stop for a second and ask yourself, what would I say if I already trusted my own voice? Because confidence isn't always about speaking louder. Sometimes it's about finally speaking like you believe you belong. And that is the kind of confidence no one can teach you, because you build it from within. If this video gave you something to think about, subscribe to The Mind Upgrade. Because we're not here to become louder, we're here to become harder to overlook. If you want more videos that help you build a stronger mindset, overcome challenges, and upgrade the way you think, make sure you subscribe to The Mind Upgrade.